live. We're starting, and I am very excited
Me too.
today. Yeah, yeah, and Sarah is very excited too. So I met Sarah like I want to say 3 months ago, and we chatted for a while.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said, we're gonna run our LinkedIn Live and create a podcast. But I realized I didn't want to do the work. And then Sarah
I
says,
remember that call though.
"Y- because it's just I'm doing too much. So I really concentrate on
Mhm.
branding through content,
Yeah,
outreach, and LinkedIn Live or events. So I
yeah,
combine those three into a service that I can do and I can kind of control and I can get a good
yeah,
outcome on it. But I said this podcasting, I don't know if I can grow it. And then you brought up YouTube as well. We'll mention YouTube. And I said,
yeah.
well, we're kind of pushing to YouTube because yeah, it's really not enough. And so there's all these little tricks to the trade. And I said, okay, why don't you just handle my YouTube and my podcast? And you're getting it from these lives anyway. So I said, okay, great, great. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll help you with another service. And then we start bringing clients back and forth because there's a lot of stuff that I don't really want to deal with. So it's awesome having you on this, and it's kind of interesting. We launched the little notification for this live probably about 2 or 2.5 weeks ago, not a full month. So we usually
Mhm.
have about 4 weeks runway.
Yeah,
We had 2 weeks and change runway, and I think we already got 265 people
yeah. We're
already.
famous.
What now?
We're famous.
Oh yeah, we're 265 people famous. But that's pretty good for 2 weeks though, right? So
Yeah.
we did a couple of things for it and to promote it and everything. And I want to go ahead and open the chat too.
Mm.
Oh, we do got people on here. All right. He says, I'm here waiting to start. Excited to be here, Troy. Uh Pre-live. See you soon. Huh. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up. Let me see here. Let me see if we can see it. Might be a LinkedIn issue. We get notifications here. I got click to join
Yeah.
and it's not starting. On it. So let's do this. It says it's live
Mhm.
and it says it's 11 a.m. Can anyone in the chat uh see this? If anyone's there, and it might just be a technical issue. If not, we'll just go ahead and rerun it. It
Yeah.
says it says hmm. It's trying. It says live on it. So we'll see what happened there. We kind of marked everything up there. All right,
Yeah, I think
let's go ahead and try it again. Okay, so I invite anyone if they see this live to go ahead and type in the chat, and I don't see anyone typing in the chat, and it may be
so.
a 10-second delay on it. And let me see here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on the thing.
Oh,
Uh, hmm. Okay, well, we'll rerun it. We'll go ahead through the whole show. And I see the chats coming in, but the chats are on YouTube and says good luck. Oh, this must be a technical issue. Is there a way to check the live?
hmm.
Okay, well, we're going to continue. And so again, it was awesome meeting you. You have great energy, and I know
Thank
you
you.
travel a lot.
Yeah.
So how did you come into the podcast business, and what other side hustles do you have? Because I know traveling is one of them.
So podcast is actually something that I do with my partner, Manish Balakrishnan, and he is the founder actually of Podcast Inc. and I'm just the CEO. So I actually I have like a degree in like strategic management, and
Mhm.
one of the good things about it is like calculating situations and running after numbers and stuff. So I love this podcasting field simply because it offers a lot of perspectives and I get to meet a lot of people from like different areas, different fields, and help them start and convert their podcast into a solid marketing tool that would help them eventually generate revenue. It's like showcasing their expertise to their audience, to their clients and stuff. So it is lovely actually to be, it's blessing and lovely at the same time to be able to meet people from different angles and stuff, and it helps this energy kind of like continuing to build up somehow. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, really nice. Yeah. And so how do you travel for fun? Do you travel for business or what is it? Because I know
It's mostly for business. I'm a digital nomad, so you get to have the fun from time to time. I'm not gonna say
yeah.
like, oh no, you're not having fun. You are having fun, but at the same time, you're in a good place, but put in your laptop and just tap on like getting the work done. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I did I'm seeing here. Why is this one? Okay. I was it was doing a background screen thing here.
Okay.
So we met together, and what I would like to know about podcasts is how do you set that up? What are the benefits? And we have some questions already that were on the poll already, but we want to figure out like if someone is trying to get their
Mhm.
brand out there, why would they use a podcast? And
Mhm.
once they have a podcast, what are some of the methods you use to actually get the podcast out there?
Mm.
And I guess you could talk about some of the other channels like YouTube too, and how that supports it.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually a great question. Thank you, Troy. So podcasts are actually solid in terms of like putting content as audio and video together. So you don't have to go to the previous way where, like you gotta have a strategist, you gotta have like someone to do the content for you, to do the marketing. But now
Hmm.
rather than you would have conversation with people the same way we're having conversation here, you're talking about LinkedIn branding and stuff. And I'm talking about like podcasting and all. So instead of having someone that would put something as a strategy and put it the content and spend hours and also, a lot of people to have content out, I can just have this video clipped out, uh,
Hmm.
repurposed.
Hmm.
And at the same time, I can also reach out to brands saying like, hey, me and Troy are putting something together, which is like we're hyping people up to put like LinkedIn branding and YouTube or podcasting together. So if you're interested in like sponsoring this type of content, we're happy to distribute our content into your platform. So it opens up like a lot of opportunities for business owners as well as like people within this field to kind of like just grow their audience and like show their areas of expertise to their audience and like just give them the juice out of it, as you say, like help them.
Yeah, definitely. And so once you
Yeah.
provide a service for the podcast, you're taking the video and you're actually creating smaller bite-sized chunks of information where you can use on other platforms like LinkedIn or YouTube. And so you're actually spreading the word with that. So the technical stuff is once you get a podcast started, are there like the best channels to plug in first? And then also, I noticed that you're actually adding blogs to my website based on some specifics or episodes as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all those
Yeah.
kind of seep in through to the time. But am I missing anything there?
Yeah, so mainly when it comes up to the the podcast itself, we just don't do only video or YouTube or something. We started actually from scratch, like from an idea into actually something that generates money.
Hmm.
So what we do from that is, for example, you're just starting. We would just, talk about the idea, put the logo. There are like a lot of setup before like launching a podcast. So we make it like super easy for you to kind of like just process the information.
Hmm.
And then what we would do, we draw a map. So based on that map, we create content. For example, for you, Troy, what we're doing together, simply because you're talking about LinkedIn branding and stuff. That's why we converted like your podcast into a blog and newsletter as well, simply because you use that to share and spread the word with your community. So it's just our way to helping you having it easy, done easy, if we can say
Hmm.
so. But for another client, maybe, or for someone else that I'm working with, maybe that's not their way of like connecting with their audience. Maybe it's in-person way. So we help them like have from the podcast a in-person event that they would just meet people and network with them, and then based on that we create like what is needed in terms of like content, as well as like filming or being there for them in terms of like creating the content.
Mhm.
So for us, it's like podcasts are like so big and solid. If you wanted to just focus on that and have like all your marketing kind of like streamlined, if that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to wrap around my head is what are all the different channels a podcast gets sent out to? Because as a business person, I want to know how many views, for
Yeah.
what channel is the best. Um, when do people start trickling in? Because a podcast is on demand, and it's much different
Mm-mm-mm.
than a
Yeah.
live. And so those
Yeah.
are kind of the things that I would probably be interested in. And so, what would
Mhm.
so someone would be working with you and saying, "Hey, Sarah, I got this show, and I want to know what kind of views and things like that would happen." What would be a good reply
Mhm.
on that? Is there a sequence of timed events where they grow their podcasts in a certain amount of time, or how does that work? Because
Mhm.
they want to see the benefit of creating that podcast.
Yeah. So if you're looking for the benefit faster, you need to spend a lot of money.
Mhm.
So
It's different than
let's talk more about that.
organic, and then
Yeah,
ad
even
driven.
even in organic. Yeah, even in organic. So organic, I'm talking organic, it's really cool to keep it up. If you're like into the I'm gonna stay consistent, it's an investment for my business to grow. I mean, like for my podcast to grow. So it's definitely something that we do. But aside from that, you will need to boost your
Mhm.
content with like ads and promote it more so you can reach more people and drive them to your podcast.
That's a good point.
Back
So,
to
what
your
kind of budget? Like, what's a starting budget if they have a dollar budget per month? So, say a business is making, I don't know, say they're a solopreneur or small business making $250,000, right? Just start from
Mhm,
that
mhm,
beginning. What would be a good
mhm.
budget? Would $1,000 a month be a good starting budget, or is there like a rule of thumb on that?
So we have different packages. It depends upon like the volume of work that
Oh,
we would receive and the kind of like also what you want to put out there. So we have like between 8,000 to even 10,000, depends upon like the kind of work. So just to get back to one of your questions, which was like related to the platforms.
mhm,
So I would say like we have YouTube, Spotify, and
mhm.
Apple. I would just say Spotify before Apple because people are a lot tuning into Spotify on a daily
Oh,
as well.
really? Okay.
I'm not saying
Well,
that
I didn't know
that
which one
they're
was
not
better,
doing
so
it enough.
it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So and related to that also the YouTube aspect of it is one of the best thing because we have like this feature where it says like podcast, so you can just add your podcast there and also grow the same way we're having it within your YouTube channel. So yeah,
Oh, got it. Got it. So I'm getting a lot of notes in here. The same people are waiting.
yeah,
I'm not seeing it. So we have to replay this tomorrow. So what I'm going to do right
yeah,
now is I'm going to go on my LinkedIn, and it says it's live and I have my channel there. So, and it's on
yeah.
LinkedIn. I'll double check to make sure.
I think it's also on my YouTube. Like I've
Yeah,
checked, so
it
I don't know.
says I'm looking at it right now. It's streaming. It's not streaming. It's not happening. So what I'm gonna do is we'll record this and we'll play it again, probably tomorrow or a day where you have time to sit in, and so we can kind of reply, and then we'll reply
Yeah.
to the
Okay.
chats on there on LinkedIn. So I'm gonna go to the event page, and which is really weird, isn't this? It's like never happened. Well, it just
It is on my YouTube, literally. I'm just looking at it. So let me
yeah, but
just show you. Hold on.
the show, the most of the people will be on LinkedIn. And so,
Yeah.
I'll just say, this is, so for some reason, I'll go ahead and hit a comment. Uh, "Sorry, guys, this is actually running live right now, but for some reason, it's not running, period. So we'll have to redo this, and my apologies."
All
Um,
right,
yeah.
cool.
Might shoot this for the
Let me
same
check.
time tomorrow. Period. There you go.
Cool.
I,
Like,
I
no
kind of
problem.
posted on the event page there, but it's just really weird.
Okay.
But okay, so let's continue. So there's a couple of things that we're giving away. We have 3 CTAs. One is going to be
Yeah.
Sarah's booking link, and one is going to be my booking link, and the other is an
Yeah.
SOP, a service operating procedure on how to create your own LinkedIn Live, how to manage that. And so that will be a PDF. So what I'll ask right now, and I'll ask again later, if you do want a meeting with Sarah, just type in Sarah in the chat, and we won't see it here, but we'll see it tomorrow, and we'll jump on and we'll answer it right away. And if you need a meeting with me, just type in Troy. And I handle the LinkedIn Lives. I handle the outreach for LinkedIn. I handle content creation and driving driving an audience towards that and building your brand. And Sarah, she's offering free consultation. So if you have a problem or a question and you need to drive traffic to your podcast
Yeah.
or someone to manage that, she's the person for that. So I would suggest you to type her name in there and say, yeah, I didn't get my podcast started and I don't want to do all the work, just like me. That's how
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
And the third CTA stands for call to action, is an
Yeah.
SOP for the LinkedIn Live. So just type in guide or SOP. Yeah, I'll know either way, and I'll show it to you to give a quick overview of this. And let me see here. Share screen. Let's see here. Entire screen here. And can you see this, Sarah? All right,
Yeah.
awesome. So this is my LinkedIn SOP for live and events, and it's 10 pages long, and each has 5 different steps and an explanation and an overview. And so it goes through the overview. You can click on that. You can see that information. It walks you through how to create an event. We use Restream. Obviously, it's not working today, but usually it does work. And we have a video on.
I feel so bad about this, Troy. We gotta.
I feel bad because
repeat
it's kind of on my end. So I don't think it's my fault, but it's still my responsibility. So, it
It's totally
happens.
fine.
I think 1 out of 10 shows, it happens. So anyway, if you guys and gals want this, just type in SOP or guide, whatever is easier for you, in the chat, and then I'll make sure I'll send the PDF as a to your DM, your direct message. The other thing is I did a poll this morning, and actually, let me refresh this here and see how it's going. We already got about 500 impressions on it, and we got votes, 18 votes, and a lot of people are asking stuff, and I really didn't go through all of them, didn't have time. But what I
Yeah.
want to do for the sake of time is go through some of these questions. So on this poll, I asked 4 questions, and these 4 questions were what people really want to know about. And so the first one is, how much time does it take? So there's 2 sides to that. If they're managing it, if they're managing a LinkedIn Live or a podcast, how long would it take them to do that? And so I would break that down to hours in a week. So if you're doing a LinkedIn a podcast, do you usually get 1 podcast per month or 1 per week? How does that usually work?
So, in terms of like weekly, like in terms of like if our team is like working on these things, you just have to dedicate at least 2 hours a week
Oh,
to
manage it.
get your
Yeah, to
podcast.
get approvals and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah. But if
Yeah.
they had to do it, I would think they would have to invest, what, 10 or 20 hours a week? Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
kind of the same
It's
on our
basically
side. So between 10 and 20 hours is what it takes to run a live properly. And it gets the same thing for the podcast. And again, with the
Yeah.
podcast, she's not just managing the podcast, she's separating out the materials for smaller bits of
Mm.
media. And then she's also
Yeah.
you're able to push that out. She's creating the blog posts for your website if you have a blog. Matter of fact, I'll show you mine here. It's the Troy Agency. So she's already added this
Yeah.
one here: improve your revenue tips from zero to hero, targeting prospects and mastering call structure and stuff like that. And we actually
Yeah.
created a blog post around that.
Yeah.
Going back to the questions, this one was the most popular. Why would I want my own live? And this goes along with the podcast. I just didn't have enough characters to put it in there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so what are the
Yeah.
benefits? I'll speak first, and I don't know if I'll cover
Mhm.
all the areas, and please cover in the gaps. The first
Yeah.
thing that I would, matter of fact, let me see here. The first thing I would say is that a LinkedIn Live and a podcast is what we call long format. It's different than short format. For example, I post daily. I may get 30 likes, 60 likes, 90 likes, or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're
Mhm.
like little small bits of goodness. And so
Yeah.
they get your brand out there. It's like a little dopamine hit. They solve a particular problem or they make you smile, whatever you're trying to do with that content. And usually I like creating content that that allows people to smile, allows people to think, or can solve a
Yeah.
problem. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to be complicated. So I create content
Mhm.
where um is 3 steps to lower this and to increase that, you know, 3
Yeah.
or 5 steps to solve a particular problem that anyone can do, right? And
Yeah.
if I can lower their pain, then I've done my job, because it's all about
Yeah.
communication and solving problems. You can't always solve all their problems in something very
Sure.
simple,
Sure.
but you can actually lower
Mhm.
their pain and provide value. And so the
Yeah.
lives and podcasts, because it's a long format, they get to know who you are, what you look like, what you feel like, your
Exactly.
energy. And more than often, that's where the buyers come from. So they may lurk on your
Sure.
content for months and months or years even. And when they see an episode, a podcast, or a live, that's the longer that's when they pull the trigger and make the decisions on
Sure.
that. Another thing is that it's very good for your branding. So think about a
Yeah.
live, and we'll go through some of the steps of this. So here is one of my is I got like 3,000 subscribers, and it's my newsletter. It's my LinkedIn newsletter. And so I just did this
Hmm.
last night, and I put it out there, and it talks about the event and everything. And I'll change it to the new event. I have to create a new event and re-record this and bring it over and all that. And
Yeah.
so I did a little video on it and all this stuff. But I have a kind of a little math problem here. And so they say, why do
Hmm.
I want a LinkedIn Live or podcast?
Hmm. Yeah.
And so I just did 10 steps, and I have to apologize, Sarah. I did not take into account all the things on podcasts I just didn't know, and I had to get
Yeah.
this out last night, right?
It's so
So
cool.
so think about reach. So if I
Mhm.
want to create a LinkedIn Live, say it's a 1x reach, and then I want to
Mhm.
create a live that automatically creates a post. It does. That's another 1x reach. Goes to your audience, right? That's 2x's. Add other streaming channels: LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, which for some reason is not working today. Instagram,
Yeah.
whatever. There's like 22 channels. So I usually
Yeah.
have 3 channels at least. And then send to your email list and grow your email list. So you have an email list you send out to, and then you can grow the list, and you grow the list
Mhm.
from the people who registered. So 267 people, whatever people registered over the last 2
Yeah.
weeks, I can figure out what their email is, and then I can add them to the
Yeah.
email list, and then there's other
Yeah.
ways as well, right? I can create a
Mhm.
LinkedIn newsletter. This is exactly what I did here. I could post on LinkedIn
Yeah.
about the event. I think you and I both did that, right? And then that was the poll for me. create short form content. This is exactly what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
from the long form video, you can create that short form. And then this is if you have a guest speaker. This is you. So you can actually, you've done some of these already. So you've
Yeah.
probably doubled my reach. And then you
Yeah.
brought people in to my network. So I'm pollinating my network, which is a
Yeah.
really important thing because your network is not exactly the same as mine, and your audience is not all the people need a podcast. Some people
Yeah.
may need help on marketing or LinkedIn or
Sure.
content and that sort of thing. And so a lot of my people may just want a podcast.
Yeah.
They're
Sure.
moving over to yours as well. And then I
Yeah.
know that each podcast has Apple, Spotify, and different channels, and YouTube, and different
Yeah.
things like that. Um, so each website can also be a website blog post, which is we showed what you did. And so
Yeah.
when they're asking why do I want this, it's because of reach. Number one, let me see, how do I stop share? It's reach, number one.
Yeah.
So that's important, and it's brand building. So on that list, did I miss stuff, Sarah?
No, actually you got it all right. So basically you just have to you just have to kind of like stay consistent with it. You cannot tap out of it. Cause I don't know for how long you've been doing like the live stream, Troy. How many years?
I want to say a few years, but not consistently.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
what we're doing with your YouTube channel, the reason why you're seeing a lot of, growth out of that, I mean, like we're converting the podcast, like the live stream into a solid videos and podcasts on YouTube, but we're
mhm,
staying consistent there. So we
yeah.
broke that kind of habit. So that's the difference between having a live stream and a podcast. So a podcast, you must stay on it. Every time
Mhm,
you drop on it, you're just going to hurt your growth. And this is really going to affect you badly. So you have to be sure, like, okay, I'm just transitioning toward podcast. So
mhm,
I'm going to make this podcast working for me. So I'm just going to pour my energy, provide value, as you say, to other people, and take it from there. Like I will just have it all done in a way that is attracting my financial goal as well. So right now it's
mhm,
like every time I'm meeting someone, I'll be talking more about their big goal for the podcast, but also their
mhm,
financial goal because it helps me take certain actions toward their podcast. And I'll be like so transparent also when it comes to that. Like, we're going to take longer to kind of like get you there. But it
mhm.
is like during the way you're going to see the growth. It's not that we're not doing the
Well,
work
there's a
or
big difference between spike growth and in continual growth. So if
mm,
they're advertising, you get people interested at first, but are those the people that want to stay? And so
yeah,
when you have the organic growth, you have a more of a hardcore audience. And
yeah,
then all us as entrepreneurs, if we have a high value service, we
hmm,
don't need a ton of clients because there's a lot of management. So
yeah,
you
true,
couldn't take but X amount of clients anyway. You
true.
just don't, it's not a wham bam thing and you push a couple buttons and boom,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
done. It's actually consultation. So when I bring a client in, there's a onboarding document. There's things like we
yeah,
redevelop their profile to align with their ICP. We help with their
hmm,
targeting. We create the content and messages and the patterns, the daily
hmm,
processes that need to happen. So the key word that I heard during this whole conversation, well, this little bit in the last 5 minutes,
yeah,
was consistency. So
yeah.
you force people to be consistent,
Exactly.
and
That's what I do.
that's so important. And so how many shows should they have a month? Like right now I have one a month and I'm trying to move to two a month and I may
Mhm.
move to four. So I'm
Yeah.
committing to two a month and just to
You're
make
an
sure I can get.
exception, Troy. Let's just say that because simply what we're doing, we're repurposing old content. So for YouTube, you're actually a regular. You're posting every single week.
Oh,
But
okay,
we're
good.
but this is the
Yay.
reason why it's like they just have to stick to it. Like for example, like let's say you're putting once a month, like you're just putting one episode a month, which is totally fine. We can just put some content, create some shorts, repurpose some stuff, and kind of like extend it to fill up the gap of like a month. But it would be lovely to have like 4 episodes and keep them around like the sweet spot of like 30 minutes to 45 minutes and put it out there for your audience so they can just
Mhm.
learn more about you. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So twice a month is better than once a month. More is better.
Yeah.
More is better. So, but
Yeah.
because I had like a history of shows already, you're armed and ready,
I
right?
have a lot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a
Okay.
lot.
Cool.
Yeah, say so.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
Yeah, me too.
So let's go back on the other two questions there. So hopefully those two questions were answered, and
Mm,
I'll go ahead and share the screen again,
okay.
and go ahead and take a look at that. And so that's why you have your own live. They really want, because it's business. If you reach out to more people and more people like and more people know you, they get to really know you on the longer format stuff. And
Mm,
those when they will often make the decision makers. So we showed you can 10x, 20x easily by doing some of these methods. And these methods apply to LinkedIn Live as well as these are these methods I mentioned here. They
yeah.
apply to LinkedIn Live as well as podcasts, and I think podcasts are really good. Just because it's not my field of expertise, but they get to download it on their time,
Yeah.
versus the live. So it's a different energy. The lives. I got a lot
Yeah.
of complaints. All these chats are coming in, like I can't see
Yeah.
it. At
Yeah.
least,
Me too.
they're like, oh, we wanted to see it. So it's really, really good on that. How
Mhm.
can podcast lives be viral? I think we answered that question already.
Mm,
With the and having to be viral, you have to have a method or a system to do certain things, to boost it, to extend it, to have a
mm,
conversation around it, and so forth.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other question is how to manage podcast lives. Well, you
Mhm.
and I both talked in our guesstimate was a podcast takes about 10 hours a week for you to do. It may take them
Mm,
20 or 30 or 40 hours because they're not streamlined. That's just my
mm,
guess. I don't know
yeah.
what you think. And the same goes along for the LinkedIn Live. And so hopefully
Mhm.
that answers that question there. Um, so I don't know if we have any other things to talk about, but because we have all these notes are coming in, they can't see the thing. But we'll record this and we'll publish it tomorrow. And as long as you're available for the chat portion, then that would be great. And
Yeah.
I'll have my assistant send out messages to everyone like technical issues. Don't
I mean,
know.
we gotta have a different live stream, Troy. Like, don't put me into this. Like, let's just have it.
Well, we'll do this for tomorrow, and then we'll redo this in about a month or two, and
Yeah,
then
sure.
we'll have this similar conversation. Okay,
Yeah.
so what I say to everyone else, if you want the guide, just type in the chat SOP, that service
Mm,
operating procedure, or guide. And if
yeah.
you want to talk to Sarah about this and how to that you can work with her in order to get your podcast up and moving and making
Yeah.
it happen, just type in Sarah in there. And if you need anything business or LinkedIn related, including LinkedIn Lives, just type
Mhm.
in Troy. And so this has been pretty entertaining, a little frustrating. Um,
A
but
lot
before I go
frustrating.
off, you know what I want to ask? What else do you have going on besides the podcast stuff? Are you like that's all you're focused on, or do you got any side hustles, or what?
No, I'm actually I'm a simp for AI. So I'm putting
Mm.
more into my AI, which is also related to podcasting, simply because I feel like podcasting is a place where I can just be free from social media and I can just have it all done on one go. So it's now launched and it's out, but I'm still adding. There's always a room for improvement. So this is really exciting project for me, and this is something that I'm so happy and proud.
So how are you applying AI to podcasts? That's I'm trying to connect the dots. I'm having problems with it. Could you
Yeah.
fill in the gap for me?
Sure, yeah. So it's like what we're doing is like we're understanding the style of like we train our AI to understand the style, the tone of each content creator. So it's easier to adopt what you're putting on your LinkedIn. For example, I would just copy that style and have it all like on that AI. And we will have the content that would sound exactly like you with the same
Mm,
tone, the same style.
important.
That's something beautiful. And, like within AI now, I can just also copy your voice and have your podcast, produced without you actually recording.
Oh, that's a big one. You should have started with that. You should have like I could have a
Exactly.
whole podcast and
So so yeah,
would
this is
would it do like this? Can I do like that in the
no.
no? I would just stay still and talk.
I'm talking about audio, Troy. I haven't tapped into video yet in terms of like
Oh,
generating that.
audio. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The
because
video
video
would be
is quite
interesting.
difficult. You're still the only one human unique that is there.
I'm sure you'll copy that somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as me, it's I have an application I've been working on for years. So
Okay.
the first 2 years was a manual process. Over the last 6
Mhm.
months, I built a software called Scoop. I'll go ahead and
Mhm.
share real quick.
Yeah.
But it also has AI in it. So
Oh.
AI is the thing. It's just a simple AI, but
Mhm.
and I'm not gonna increase the I'm not gonna play this video, but
Mhm.
it works with LinkedIn.
Okay.
So the thing is, we have a lot of people doing automation stuff, right?
Yeah.
And people can sniff that out.
Mhm.
And if it's not specific for that individual, you get much less conversion. And
Mm.
so there was a gap in the market, and this actually creates an instant video. So you can create a video to talk to someone on LinkedIn, and then you go to the next person and talk to them.
Mhm.
So you're talking to that
Mhm.
person, that individual about that specific thing, and they know that you're human, and they know you took time to do that. So I tend to get a much higher conversion rate when I do personalized videos, and it ranges between an 8 and 20% on the ones I pick. So if someone connects with me or someone sends a message, they want to know that a real person, because a VA can't
Yeah.
really they can't fake that,
Yeah.
because it's the real person. And so people appreciate that candid feel. And so we have a system that automatically uses the camera and
Mhm.
sends the video. Now, how do I get out of this thing here? Uh, so, so the thing is, it's a 5-in-1 tool. We have ChatGPT for replies. That's the AI stuff. And we have the
Okay.
ability to do a voice memo. So a lot of people don't have their hair done,
Mhm.
and they don't want to do the video. They want to do the voice, and it'll be the little
Yeah.
voice thing that comes in there. It has animated GIFs built in. You can just run a search on it. It works on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It works on Gmail, and it has a couple other cool features in it as well. So you can add there's a lot of little features in it, but we're gonna do a private release. But for X amount of dollars a month, you have the capability of personalized. So there's a huge gap in that market, and that market is strictly business conversions and conversations. So that's what I have going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Well,
I like
you
it.
like it?
Good luck, Troy. You're always rocking it.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, it was a little painful because there's bugs and stuff,
I
and I'm
know.
like, "This doesn't work right." So sometimes the programmers will get in there, and programmers are typically functional. They want to get the thing working, but
Yeah.
I want it to
Mm.
work. It's different than one
Yeah.
thing working.
Yeah.
And so we have this huge bug
Yeah.
sheet and all that, so it should be pretty cool. When is your product coming out?
So it's already launched. You can go to podcastinc.ai
Mm,
and you can sign up for like X amount of dollars and join that. We are still adding like a lot of features, but so far it's functioning well for someone that is like looking to have their content ready there, have like videos clipped out as well with content. So they just have to copy paste and all. So we're adding certain systems into it that can just sense the tone, and you will have to probably spend like at least 30 minutes in it, and then boom, you're done.
got it. Got it. Well, I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. I'm gonna jump off of this. The thing will be recorded, and I will play it at the same
Yeah.
time tomorrow, and I'll send to everyone a DM an apology. So, and then you and I will have to.
We're
Well, you
sorry. We just wanted to have it
I
private.
know. So what I think we're gonna do is next month, or in 2 weeks, or a month and a half, whatever you have time for it. We'll do this again, and we'll have like 5 slides ready, and I'll have those questions and
Mhm,
stuff on there, so I don't have to jump screens and all that. But I do appreciate
mhm.
everyone for watching, and I'll check out the chat for for this event and the events that happening. That I'll replay it tomorrow. All right. Thank you very much. And
Yeah.
Sarah, I appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on here. I don't know how to do the hearts.
Yeah.
I think I'm slow. Is that
Yeah,
how you do it?
exactly. You're good.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
How do I stop this?